Hello, I'm Claire Smith and welcome to my channel. So today I've got a perfume haul for you. These can be roughly grouped as perfumes that were really hyped during 2020. And I remember sitting at home and not being able to smell any fragrances and watching all these YouTube videos and thinking, yeah, these interest me. And I just never got around to buying them until now. So I thought I'd review them and talk about who had hyped them and whether I agree with the hype. So the first perfume is Wanted Girl by Azzaro, and I think this one was really hyped last year by its MJ. I think she said that this fragrance was her favourite perfume. And I saw probably quite a few other channels talk about Azzaro Wanted Girl as well. And Azzaro Wanted Girl really, I think, got hyped because of that dulce de leche note that's in the mid of this fragrance. That's enough to attract most gourmand lovers, isn't it? The promise of dulce de leche. So if you don't know, and you might not if you live in the UK, because it's not really a thing over here that much, but dulce de leche is sort of a Hispanic dessert or dessert sauce, and it's milk cooked with sugar. So imagine something like a caramel, but milkier basically. So that's what I was expecting in this fragrance primarily. I was expecting that dulce de leche note to really come through. And I wouldn't say that I really got it with this fragrance. I think that I was expecting more of a creamier kind of toffee feeling from this fragrance rather than what I did get. This fragrance is more floral for me. I got more of the ginger blossom and the orange blossom notes in this rather than the dulce de leche. I got an underlying sweetness. But I would say that the opening to this fragrance also really reminded me of two other fragrances in my collection. And the first one was Bonbon. And I wore this one yesterday to do a little bit of a comparison, and I do think that the openings are a little bit similar, but I don't think the dry down is. And then also I thought of this one as well. So this is Yes I Am by Cacharel, and yeah, they both just got that sort of sweet patchouli kind of feel to them, and that this has caramel in it, so I think that's probably what is crossing over. So yeah, this fragrance is really sweet, but it's really toned down by the florals and the ginger or ginger flower or whatever it is in this fragrance. I'd say the dry down to me doesn't smell that distinctive. It smells like a lot of other fragrances in my collection. I feel like the dulce de leche does not stick around, and it becomes more floral as it dries down, so you get the floral with the patchouli and the vanilla. So having bought this sample, would I buy a bottle? No, I don't think I would. I think it's not as distinctive as I thought it might be from the hype. It's nice. I just feel like I've got a lot of other fragrances in my collection that mimic both parts of this fragrance, both the dry down and the beginning. And I think if I didn't have those, this is a perfectly nice fragrance. It's perfectly nice designer fragrance, but it's just not that distinctive. If you look at the bottle for Azzaro Wanted Girl, it resembles a flower and a hand grenade, and I thought that was kind of reminiscent of Victor and Rolf's flower bomb, actually. I thought they'd just totally nicked their idea there, but maybe that's just me. That's Wanted Girl by Azzaro. So the next fragrance is one that I got sucked into by Mila LeBlanc, and I don't know, I started watching fragrance YouTube, and she was one of the first people I started watching, and I really got sucked in. And I know that you know, she's a very savvy lady. She knows what she's doing with her channel. She's very on to how to attract attention to it, and I think that's amazing. I think she's really played her strengths there with trying to get around the hate, basically, because I think she gets a lot of hate, and you know, that's not nice. So good on you, Miller. But yeah, so she did a video. I remember watching this one. She did a video on distinctive fragrances, and one of the distinctive fragrances that she put in that video was Burberry Body. So this is the box, Burberry Body Eau de Parfum, and this is the bottle. So I love the bottle. It looks like a nice weapon. I really love a fragrance bottle that looks like something I can knock somebody out with, and this one definitely lives up to that hype. So you can see how much fragrance I've used just trying to understand this fragrance and work out what I think of this fragrance. I still don't really get it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it's my issues with peach. This one is a very strange fragrance. So the thing that's distinctive about this fragrance is that it has wormwood. So wormwood is the thing that you get in absinthe. So if you like absinthe, you might really think this fragrance is really interesting. And so to me, I do get the wormwood. There is a definite wormwood hit there. I wouldn't say I'm the world's greatest expert on what wormwood smells like, but I definitely get something. I think when you first spray this fragrance, it's sharp and sour at the same time, and I think that's the wormwood. So initially you get the peach and the wormwood, they're really the main notes. And then as it starts to dry, you get the rose and the freesia kind of appear along with those notes. And it becomes less sour and more creamy. It then sort of transitions again. It's a really a real journey fragrance, this one. It does change during its course. It's not linear at all. In the dry down, it's more sort of powdery and musky, really. It's really long-lived, this fragrance as well. It's really got really good longevity. I wouldn't say it projects, it's more of a skin scent. I keep trying this one and my views on it change. So initially I was like, no. And now I'm kind of warming to it. I think I'm going to keep trying it. I think this one could turn into a love, but on paper, I wouldn't have put this one down as a love. So yeah, I'm going to keep trying it. So I've seen people unbox this fragrance and have really strong negative reactions to it, but also really love it. And I can see both sides of this. I think that this one's taken me a long time to get to a point where I don't dislike it and I'm beginning to like it. It's not been an instant love at all, this one. So I think this fragrance is more of a daytime fragrance. I think it could be a date night fragrance if it was a very intimate date. I don't think this is something you'd wear to go out, if you know what I mean. I think it just because it's such a skin scent and you have to be so close to someone to smell. I think this, you really have to like sort of a mix between sourness and florals. And if you're not into florals, I don't think you're gonna like this scent. I also think that you really need to like freesia, peach and wormwood. So the wormwood to me comes off as almost a sour apple smell, something like a Bramley apple juice, a cooking apple juice is how I would describe the smell of the wormwood. I think this fragrance is definitely distinctive. I do agree with Miller. I can see that, you know, it is sort of a signature scent almost, but I don't think people would use this as a signature because it doesn't really project that much. And even though it does have amazing longevity, I just think with a signature scent, you want people to be able to smell it. So this fragrance also reminded me very much of my Burberry, and I didn't actually like my Burberry. I think it's probably because of the peach note, and I actually thought this was the same perfumer, but it isn't. This is the same guy who made the Chloe fragrances, Gucci Rush, and also the Bottega Veneta fragrances. Would I buy this fragrance having bought this bottle and tried it out? I think I would. It's distinctive. I find it interesting. I'm still trying to work out whether I like it or not, but I do think it's distinctive and I think that's what I'm looking for. So that's Burberry Body EDP. So the final fragrance is one that was hyped by the one and only Jeremy Fragrance, and I have to admit there have been times where I have watched Jeremy Fragrance and ultimately regretted it, I'm sorry to say. So yeah, his intermittent outbursts are just off-putting, aren't they? And his lists where he says, you know, I don't know, I just find him a little bit sexist, sorry. So Jeremy Fragrance hyped this one. So this is Hugo Boss, the scent for her, Private Accord. So I also have the scent for her, which I haven't been bothered to bring downstairs, but you know, you can imagine the scent for her just sitting here. Right, I'm back. I picked it up. I bothered to go upstairs for you. So this fragrance is very similar to this one, actually. I think if you have this, you probably don't need this. I think out of the two, I prefer this one. So the difference between these two is that this one has freesia and peach, and instead this one has mandarin, coffee and tonka. So this is a bit more gourmand smelling than this fragrance. And if you saw my collection video, you will have seen me say, I'm not buying any more from this range because this has poor longevity. I'd say on me, actually, it's not that bad. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours, but you know, it's a skin scent after about, I don't know, half an hour or something. It's really not that prominent. This one I would say is similar, actually, and I think this fragrance is less linear than the other one, so it kind of matters more because the bit you want is at the beginning. So this fragrance got hyped by Jeremy Fragrance because he said that this was like a chocolate orange scent. And yeah, I would say that it's more accurately described by other people as a cocoa dusted mandarin. So to me, if you live in the UK this smells like the orange cream from the orange creams in Quality Street, if you know what I mean, but dusted in cocoa. I'd say that this fragrance smells like that for about 10 minutes, and then it turns into more of an osmanthus scent. So it becomes a little bit creamy, and you also get a lot of the tonka in this that's in the base. I think the problem with longevity with both of these fragrances is that they don't really have a prominent base, and that's why they do suffer a little bit on that front. But I think having smelt both of these again, I probably wouldn't buy this one. I think I was perfectly happy with this one, and I'm not quite sure why I bought this one. I think because it's kind of the gourmand season, isn't it? And this fragrance is coming back out again. And yeah, I was just thinking about it in sort of early September, late August, and just ended up buying it basically. So yeah, if this fragrance could sort out its lasting power issues and could maintain the chocolate orange scent for a little bit longer, I think this would be even bigger than it is, but sadly that isn't the case. So would I buy this fragrance having re-smelt it? I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just settle with this one. So Jeremy fragrance, yes, I can see why you hype this one. It's interesting in the beginning, but it's so short-lived, I really don't think it's worth it. So that's Hugo Boss, A Scent for Her, Private Accord. So that's the final fragrance in this video. Please let me know whether you agree with the hype around these fragrances and whether you fell for the hype in 2020, because I'd love to know what you thought of these fragrances once you'd bought them and tried them. And I'd also like to know what other fragrances that you saw hyped during 2020 and which ones were on your I'd really like to try that one list during lockdown. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please like the video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't done already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.